Hey guys, welcome. It's your friendly neighborhood bee, and let's get straight into it, shall we? From r/slash entitled people, but I already paid for it. There was a yard sale last night with pictures, and there was something I wanted. Drove an hour down the mountain to town and got there nice and early. It was still there. It's a heavy old iron pump. The hand seller the seller had it in the lawn near the curb. I told the seller I was taking it and perused the other stuff. I paid for the pump and a few other things. He had a few other buyers, so I put the other stuff in the truck until he was free to load it up. I wasn't parked far away, but by the time I turned around, there was a couple trying to pick it up, looking excited. I walked up and told them I already bought it. She didn't believe me, interrupted the seller and another customer with, "Excuse me, I'm here to buy this pump." The seller sees me, I shrug. He tells them it's been sold already. She still doesn't believe me and explains that she came all this way from the adjacent city for it. I laugh a little and tell her I came down from the mountain for it and I'm just waiting for someone to help me load it. She turned to me with an expectant look and says, "I really want it. Like I'm going to hand it over?" I just shrugged again and I was done saying no. She stood there and sighed. Mm-hmm. Rolled her eyes, and possibly called me a name under her breath. I didn't react. I got the prize, no need to gloat. Finally, another customer came over, picked up the pump, and put it in my truck. Probably just to stop her drama show, or he was just a nice guy. She was still glaring at me as I passed on the way out. I smiled and waved goodbye. God, entitled people. Just some people, you know? Like, after you explain to them, I was like, "Oh, I already bought it." I don't believe you. The seller says, "Oh, they already bought it." I don't believe you, but I came all this way. So did I. It's mine. First come, first serve. Have you never heard of that? Ugh. And if you like things like this, I'm here every day, so make sure to like and subscribe. Next one. Am I the butthole for remodeling my stepkids' rooms after their mom passed away since they weren't going to be living with me anyways? I have never been the legal guardian of my stepchildren. They have a father and had a mom. I was just their mom's husband. I never had a problem with this. Their biological father is a bit flaky, but his parents and him always made sure his child support was up to date and that all of his custody time was spent with his family. The kids were always polite to me, and I tried my best to be an adult they could come to with their problems. My wife died last year. It was an illness that came out of nowhere, and she was gone before we knew it. We had two young children of our own, and now I was a single dad. My in laws stepped up to help me with our children and hers. They established grandparents' rights and got visitation. Their dad got full custody. My two stepkids moved in with their parental grandparents since their dad lives in a bachelor loft. My house has 6 bedrooms since we finished the basement, so I could move my office down there. So the breakdown used to be us in the master suite, our kids in one room, and the stepkids each had a room. Then I had an office in the basement and a playroom that we converted to a guest room when needed. Once the kids moved out, I started thinking about the future. I left everything alone for 3 months. I didn't want to rush into anything, and I wanted them to be able to come home if they needed. They never did. I called their dad and asked him to please pick up all of their stuff so I could clean up and paint the rooms. The whole side of the family went nuts. They accused me of trying to get rid of them and erase them from their home. I do not have any sort of legal rights over these kids. God forbid they get hurt or something, and I cannot make any legal decisions for them. All I want is to have a room for each of my kids on the same floor as me and move my office back upstairs. I offered to turn both basement rooms into guest rooms that they could stay in if they wanted to stay over when they were visiting their half siblings. That wasn't accepted. I needed to leave their rooms alone. I boxed up their stuff and put it in boxes downstairs. I painted the rooms, and each of my kids got their own room upstairs. Their dad still hasn't picked up their boxes and has called me names for the things I did. I don't even know how if he knows, since the stepkids have not been here since the funeral. Am I the butthole for prioritizing my children over my stepkids and remodeling my home to exclude them? Mm, I would say it's more of prioritizing the people who actually live in the house. Like, that's something that you have to do. Like, and I'm sorry that they're going through this. And OP does put in the comments that his stepchildren are 13 and 14. So I understand from their point of view that they think that you're trying to erase them and things like that. But in a house, like, things move around, and you gave them the option of course, we can make the rooms downstairs your rooms, but I want to have my children close to me. I want them close to my bedroom, especially since they also just lost their mom, and that's understandable. And to be fair, in my opinion, your stepkids' dad doesn't have a leg to stand on to complain because he doesn't seem like a very good parent. Um, Considering his kids now live with their grandparents. Not a good parent in my opinion. Anyhow, next one. Am I the butthole? My husband and I argued on my birthday because I wanted to eat at the restaurant and he didn't. It's my birthday today and we've ended it on a downer. I'm 30 weeks pregnant with our first child and have recently been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, along with other complications. So I'm massively struggling with what I can eat. I haven't eaten much in the last week and a half because of my glucose level spikes. I can only really eat dairy, meat, and vegetables, otherwise, I spike. My husband knows this and tries to be supportive. As usual, my lovely husband gifted me some gold jewelry. We spent the day chilling, watching shows, as per my request, since my energy levels are low and we had a restaurant booking in the evening anyway. At around 4:30, I decided to eat a bit of cheese and crackers since I had hardly eaten all day. I was starving and our table was booked for 6:30. My husband proceeded to scoff and said, "Why are you eating before we're just about to eat dinner?" In disbelief, I told him I had hardly eaten all day and we aren't going to eat anything substantial for another couple hours. He went silent at my response and let it go. First red flag of the evening. Anyhow, we turn up at the restaurant on time and an hour passes, and only my husband has been served a drink, a milkshake, and his starter, whilst I'm sipping on water. For context, we visited this restaurant a few times before and haven't had this issue. My husband gets frustrated and told me he doesn't want to stay any longer out of principle because everyone else got their food before us. The service is terrible, and I'm not staying here any longer looking like an idiot. I told him let's speak to the staff and wait another 15 minutes since we've already waited an hour. I was starving, feeling lightheaded and nauseous, and it would be another hour or two before we'll eat anything if we were to leave, especially since my options are so limited with the diabetes. He told me we can stay if I really wanted to, but he won't be eating out of principle and he really just wants to leave. So we leave because he's agitated. We argue the whole journey back home because I expressed I'm angry because it's my birthday, I'm pregnant, and I would have rather sat there and waited a while longer so we can quickly eat and raise a complaint afterwards. He told me he can't believe my principles are so poor that I would stay at a restaurant looking like a fool for not being served whilst everyone else does. He also that exclaimed at me that I won't die if I don't eat for another few hours and that I seem food obsessed. Uh-huh. Obviously this doesn't sit well with me and now we're not talking. He tells me I'm in the wrong and I've told him that he is. Am I the butthole? Um wow. Okay, so your husband seems careless in regards to you. So he's fine with letting his pregnant wife with diabetes go hungry on her birthday, no less. Okay. He gets on your butt about you having cheese and crackers because you're hungry and that's the only thing that you can stomach eating whilst pregnant. Oh my god! All right, even if you weren't pregnant, wow. All right, you won't die if you don't eat for another few hours. Um. Okay. Alrighty then. Wow. That. No, you're not the butthole, and that's. Does he not know how diabetes works? Yeah, diabetes can be very, very dangerous. Wow. All right. Anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.